Gus, you see the run defense, you just watch the tape. Does anything need to change schematically, or I guess what do you view as like best option going forward to, I guess, turn the tide?
Right. I think that, we have a responsibility to kind of talk through this, not only with our team, but just here, and I think, first of all, give Green Bay credit. It's a challenging offense. There's some eye control issues, a lot of shifts and motions and things like that. So that was it. What the issue is not just one thing. There's a few things, right? And it starts with me as a play caller, getting us in the right call, executing the call, things like that. I take full responsibility for that. I think also, though, you got to look at there's a bust on a play. There's a missed tackle on a play. So there's a few things that we looked at that said, all right, it's a shared responsibility. It's not just one thing. We got to correct all these things and get them right. So, that's what we saw, especially in the first quarter. The first quarter was about as poorly as you can play, I think. It wasn't very good. Obviously, they had a lot of explosives, and it was on the perimeter. And we had to settle down a little bit. And I thought midway through the second quarter, our guys settled down a little bit. And I think the stats showed that part of it. I can give you stats. Hey, we got better in the second half and all that, but it is what it is. And that's what our focus is on right now, is correcting these things. And it always comes back to fundamentals and execution. And we just got to execute better.
And then one quick follow-up with DeForest, being helped off and crutched in the locker room. If he has to miss time, I guess, what would that mean for this team? Well, first of all, what does he mean to the team? And then how do you, I guess, adjust if he has to miss?
Sure. Well, I mean, he means a great deal to us, right? He's a strong presence in that D-line room, and not only the D-line, but the whole defense. I mean, they look to him, they see him on the field, they have great trust in him and know that, he's going to play his tail off. So that part of it, hopefully we get good news and we can move forward with it. If not, then, we'll have next guys up, Tommy and Taven and Raekwon and Grove, and we'll utilize those guys and position them where they have a chance to succeed.
Nate?
Gus, I think what people are so alarmed by is just that it happened 2 weeks in a row. We just haven't seen this group get run over 2 weeks in a row quite like that. So from your spot, is there a pride issue here? Is it an effort issue? Like, how does it go to where you guys seem like you're on alert to fix it and then it happens again?
Right. Well, I do think, like I said, go back and, to say Green Bay is a tough run scheme and things like that, and the eye control, I think our guys were thinking, shoot, is Willis going to keep it? Is it going to be an option? Is it going to be, are they going to attack the perimeter with them? There's probably a lot of things going through their heads just because we didn't have a lot of film on them. And, some of the things they did initially, like I said, the eye control was an issue. But you're right. It still comes back. You say, Gus, what's the answer? Well, I'm a big believer in you see what you coach. And right now they're not playing very good. So we've got to get it right as a coach. And if you're not demanding it, you're accepting it. And that's what the conversation was yesterday in the meeting, was these things need to get right. And there's accountability throughout. I'll take the shared responsibility. They have to take shared responsibility. And together we get it done. And it's a long season. And sometimes through challenging times like this, it can bring you close together. And hey, you earn the opportunity to rush the quarterback by stopping the run. And we haven't earned that opportunity yet.
Joel?
Gus, with Taven and Tommy, both of those guys have generally profiled more as penetrators, pass rushers. Do they have stuff they need to get better at from a run standpoint?
I thought inside on the inside side runs. Now, again, like I said, the misfits and things like that. But as far as the D line, like a guy like Tommy and Taven, I thought they held up pretty good. I mean, you can imagine there's 52 runs or whatever it was, and there's probably 47 of them were double teams, on them. And so that's some heavy work right there. I thought for the most part, they held up pretty good, and they did a good job. They used good technique. Their pad level was low and they strained. So that was, I don't know if I could have said that last year about Tommy, and I think this year he's done a better job in there.
Oh, Kevin? Gus, how much do you guys feel like you need to evolve schematically, if at all?
Well, somewhat what I'm battling a little bit is we have evolved. You're seeing more 5 down. You're seeing more, defenses changing the front, changing the run fits. And at times it might be getting too cute. It might be just saying, hey, let's line up. That's really what happened starting in, 8 minutes into the second quarter was just like, all right, let's get base and let's do the same thing over and over again where we know exactly how to fit and let's play ball. And I think that you saw him play faster because of it and more aggressively. Hey, let's try to get the perfect call. Let's get this. And it was a different, the same run, but it was fit differently in 4 or 5 different defenses. So once we went to one defense and said, hey, you're going to get the same look. Now it comes down to just execution. We did execute better. And so it might be more of that than the other way.
Steven?
Hey, Gus. Just a broad question. With this young quarterback that you have, I mean, the way the team has been built, a veteran team, a lot of experience. I think the thinking was we get everybody to play at a high level and hopefully bring him along with us.
Sure.
How important is it for that philosophy, to play out properly, right? With everybody else playing at their expected level, and what impact, negative impact does it maybe have on you?
That's a great question, one that we talk about, Steven. I do think that. I think right now we got a young quarterback, and no matter what team you're on, then there's going to be times when the offense needs to stand up and the defense needs to stand up throughout the season. But I do think when you have a young quarterback, more times than not, the defense has to stand up. And they got to, buy some time for him to get experience and be able to execute at a high level. And right now, although the points, if you went in the game and said, hey, they got 16 points, you'd say, okay, pretty good. But it didn't feel like that, right? It doesn't feel like that for me. It doesn't feel like that for the players, and it doesn't feel like that for the fans. So there is a responsibility for us, I think, on the defensive side to be strong enough and allow that time for his maturity and hold up on our end and keep these points down so that we have a chance for him to progress in that kind of a fashion.
Thank you.
Last two will go Nate and then Joel.
Yeah, with Taven specifically, what is it about his game that you like that makes you feel comfortable to kind of start him, if DeForest Buckner is out?
Okay. I think, obviously, if I said this is probably things that about Taven. He is a tough-minded, mentally tough, strains, does everything right. You know exactly where he's going to be and what you can count on from him every day. And that part right now, that's what you need, the consistency factor of knowing exactly what you're going to get out of his play. So, we can count on that. He's a swing guy. He can play nose. He can play 3. So he gives us flexibility, and he plays both of them, at a consistent level.
Then last question, Joel.
What have you seen from your linebackers so far, Gus?
I think, again, it goes back, if you say a shared responsibility, I think that because of some different things that we're doing, I don't think it's allowing them to play as fast as they normally do, and that's not their fault. That's more my fault. I think that you saw them play faster once we locked in and kind of got a good feel how they were attacking us. And I think that, then you saw their level of play increase. So I think it's more of a combination that we have to execute better. And they gotta make the tackles and be on the right fits. But I do think that it slowed down for him as the game went on.